This podcast is brought to you by Enlightening Learners Academic Coaching and Tutoring Services. In this presentation, we're going to learn how to quickly and accurately graph linear equations by using the x and the y-intercepts, or the slope and the y-intercepts. Some questions that you're going to need to answer at the end of this presentation. What are the x and y-intercepts? What equation form is it easiest to find the x and the y-intercepts? How do you determine the x and the y-intercepts? Finally, when the equation is in slope-intercept form, how do you easily graph the equation? All we really need are 2 points to find a line. So if we use the x and the y-intercepts, we can accurately find where the graph crosses the x line and the y line. So the process of doing that is to set x to 0 and solve for y, and then to set y for 0 and solve for x. So we're going to use this equation, 2x plus 4y equals 8. And we're going to substitute 0 for the x. Since 2 times 0 is 0, we eliminate this part and we're left with 4y is equal to 8. The question is, 4 times what is 8? Y equals 2. To prove it, we would divide both sides by 4. So this means that when x is 0, here's my x line, it's 0, my y is 2. So I'm going to plot that point there. Now I'm going to do the same thing and solve for x by setting y for 0. I'm going to replace 0 with my y, and I'm going to solve for x. This eliminates 4 times 0, and we're left with 2x is equal to 8, or x is equal to 4. When my y is 0, my x is 4. I've now got 2 points. I can accurately graph that line. Make sure that when you graph these, you put arrow ends on both ends to indicate that it's a line. Now, the format for finding slope-intercept form is a little different. We're going to graph y equals 1/3 x plus 4, negative 1/3 x plus 4. The first thing we need to do is to find the y-intercept, and again we set x to 0. This eliminates, and I'm left with y is equal to 4. When my x is 0, that's my input, my y is 4. Now, there's a couple of different ways to solve for this next part. We can replace the x with 3. I like replacing the denominator in the value. Since my denominator is 3, I'm going to replace a 3 in there and solve. And what that does is it eliminates these numbers, and I'm left with y is equal to negative 1 plus 4, or y is equal to 3. What that means is that when x is equal to 3, that's what I replace the value with, my y is also 3. That's my second point that I need. X is 3, y is 3. Now, the other way to do this is to recognize what the slope is. In this case, my m is negative 1/3, which means that I'm going to fall at being negative 1, and I'm going to run 3. Either way, it's the same point. I can continue this pattern to find my additional points, and I could go up, I can go up 1, and to the left 3. And again, I found my points. So there I've got 4 points. I extend my line to intersect all those points. And once again, I want to make sure that I put arrow ends on both sides. So there you go. Just in review. When the equation is in slope standard form, we replace the x with 0, solve for y, and then plot that point. And then we replace y with 0, solve for x, and find that point. When the equation is in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, we set the first point to 0 for x and solve for y. And then we can either plot the slope, or we can replace the x with my denominator and solve for y again.